Hey Gavin, this is Mrs. Skogland. Just wanted to give you a little bit of feedback on your summer assignment. And so we're mostly going to be talking through actually up here chapter 1 since that was the question you starred, but I'll kind of reference some other parts as we go through the video as well. So the first thing that I look for in your formal paragraph is a topic sentence, which ideally we want to answer the question and kind of preview what's going to come in the paragraph. So I noticed sometimes you sort of alluded to the question, Gavin, like you say there's two sides to every brain, the left side and the right side, they work, in different ways. But notice the question is asking you to specifically articulate the difference between those. So even if you just told me, like the L-directed is more logical, R-directed is more creative or emotional, that's fine, but I would like to see you answer that question a little more directly in the first sentence. Next, I look actually at the end of your paragraph to see if you sort of tie back to the question and clearly wrap up at the end. And I think you did a really nice job of that. A lot of your concluding sentences sort of summarize what you've said in the paragraph and provide some importance. Like here you say, people couldn't do what they do without both sides of the brain, which is totally what Pinka is saying. So those looked really good. Next, I looked at your evidence. I thought you did a good job selecting evidence. So like this quote talks about L-directed, this one talks about R-directed, and that's nice because I thought that helped you to develop the paragraph in a really nice way. You're also doing a great job, Gavin, of what we call embedding or integrating your evidence. So like, for example, here you say, the right side of the brain reasons holistically, recognizes patterns, blah, blah, blah. Even with the quotes, that flows really nicely together right with your own writing, and that's exactly what we want. So that was really good to see. On commentary, I think that you are on the right track with commentary. Like right here, I really like how you gave an example of like you say when you read a book, what the left side versus the right side does. And I thought that was a nice way to not just summarize the quote, but actually develop it a little bit more. The issue for me, Gavin, is, and I noticed this in a few other paragraphs too, sometimes you don't always have clear commentary after every piece of evidence, which is what we want. Like sometimes in this one you don't have anything at all, and in other paragraphs sometimes you just had a transition to the next quote. So make sure every piece of evidence is going to get its own piece of commentary. So that would be a good opportunity for you to go back and revise and maybe add that in. Lastly, I looked at conventions and in-text citations. So in-text citations were looking really good. You did those correctly. And then conventions, I just noticed like some tiny like proofreading things like many Moore's jobs, kind of some subject-verb agreement issues. So just things you should catch if you're proofreading. And then R-directed activities I thought looked good as well. I wanted to talk about 5 when you watched this TED Talk. At first I was like, how to eat a banana, like what? But then I loved how, you talked about that he went into, at this idea of analysis paralysis. I've heard that before, and it just sounded like a really interesting TED Talk. I'll have to go and watch that one. So anyway, good job. Just wanted to give you a little bit of feedback.